So you want to start a business, but you're not sure if you should start with product or service-based business. I have over 10 years of marketing experience. I've worked with hundreds of different types of brands, niches, product-based businesses, service-based businesses, and I want to give you my personal opinions as well as some facts to help you make your decision. As always, the most important thing is to get started. You can't perfect a business without starting from the beginning, and you can do these as a kid. You can do this as a military spouse, as a work-from-home parent. I'm filming this video as my third baby is actually asleep right now. That's the noise in case you hear anything in the background. But let's go ahead and get started. So a product-based business is something that we're all familiar with. It's something that you physically hold, it's something tangible, and this includes digital products. If someone is able to download or print your product, that counts. A service-based business is something intangible. So this can be your mindset, maybe you're speaking, it's a skill set that you have, it's a service that you're providing to someone that even though they can't tangibly hold it in their hands, they still know the value and how important your service is. In my opinion, a product-based business is a little bit more difficult to start out with at least, but it is more scalable. With a service-based business, you don't need any capital or previous funds to create this product that you're selling. You can just hit the ground running. So this is great if you are maybe a kid who doesn't have funds and you're looking to start your first business. Then you can offer a lot of service-based businesses to earn money in order to start your product-based business. I hope that makes sense. Obviously, products cost money to make, so you have to find that money from somewhere. There are tons of tips inside of our interactive journal on where to find this money, how much you might need to make, figuring out what that number is to break even and then make a profit. With a service-based business, you can basically start straight away. The only thing that you are spending your time on or your money on is your time, which is super valuable, your mindset, or your skill work. A pro of starting a product-based business is that you have the option to ship, especially with things like Amazon KDP, Etsy. This is now easier than ever to figure out. You're able to have nationwide customers, sometimes worldwide customers. You can have an out-of-state customer who sees a post that you made on social media, they order from you, and they get the product next week. A service-based business, especially if it's something that you only offer to local clients, like a plumbing company, a house cleaning company, dog walking, those are only to people in your local area. You can expand this by having a digital service like what I have. I started a marketing agency several years ago, and I was able to work from home, raising kids before we had kids, and I've been able to work in 3 different states since beginning my business because I can keep in contact with my clients digitally. Another thing to think about is that with products, someone might buy your item once. Are they going to be repurchasing your item? An example of this would be if I am selling a broom or a vacuum or a bracelet. Are they going to be able to buy different types of bracelets from me? Or am I saying that this is the one water bottle that you'll need, for the end of all time? Then you might be looking at just a one-off purchase. How can you make that person a repeat customer? Versus a service-based business, if I'm selling my service, then I can have a repeat client and I can build up my customer experience to be so good that it's like painful to leave. Somebody's attached to the personality of your brand. And once you really invest in making those relationships, then you're going to have that client. So if I have a client for 6 months or 12 months, think of that as 6 or 12 customers that a product-based business would need to reach. As far as scaling goes, think of product-based businesses as you're earning 500 times the earnings value whenever you are selling back a business or whenever someone is valuing a company at those really high levels. A product-based business is super scalable because you can make more of the product, you can have more areas where you can make the product, and then eventually down the road, you could hire people to help you create that product and mail it out. Super scalable. Versus a service-based business, I'm spending my time and I only have so much time to give to my business. Once I started growing my business, I needed to hire on contractors. So that takes away from my margins because I'm now paying other people. And whereas the product-based business is 500 times expected of their earnings, a service-based business is about 60 times projected on their earnings. Service-based business can be a little bit more challenging because, as I mentioned, you only have so much time in a day, and then you're hiring people to make sure that they can provide the same customer experience that you've created for yourself and your brand. You are directly client-facing, so there are going to be times where you're dealing with very difficult clients. It can also be a little bit more challenging when it comes to the marketing aspect of your business because, again, people don't have something tangible to see how a product works or to show people how they can solve their problem with your product. Instead, we're showing people how we can solve their problem with the service that we provide. This is a really popular and simple strategy that basically everyone uses to market their products or their services. This is a really popular way to grow your service-based business, and it's something that dang near everyone does. So you're going to start off by offering, I'll use myself as an example. I was offering social media marketing services. That was the largest portion of my business. So for website building or social media services, I was only charging a couple $100s a month when I first started. Granted, I didn't have to think about kids or any other expenses that I had in my daily life. So I was able to take that risk, and I was working for a little bit less money in exchange for experience with numerous clients. I was gaining those testimonials. I was able to screenshot and record all of those insights to show data every single month so that they would be able to see as tangibly as possible the results that we were getting. I was also able to build up a portfolio of our best performing content, some of the highest reaching articles that we had. I was able to show how many followers we had in a 30, 60, 90-day span. I had a lot of really good tangible data, and using this fueled my opportunities to speak, to teach, to write the book, to gain more clients. And every year I was able to do a price increase, and in return, I was also increasing my client experience because I was able to pay for a better billing system for invoices. I was able to purchase the business plans for a lot of apps like Canva, which gave me more access to better tools for my clients. And I was able to buy better software so that I was able to work with digital and in-person clients at a more improved rate. At the point where I had too many clients that I was able to work with, I was working from 8 p.m. to 3 a.m. when my husband was deployed and I was solo parenting. And at the time I had 2 kids, and that is not scalable when it was just me. Granted, I was taking in 100% of the margins minus some of my expenses, but that was my sign that it was time to contract out. So one of the first things that I contracted out was the most time-intensive part of my business, which was the branding portion. Think graphic designers and people to help make the graphics. I would basically send over my ideas. I would do a quick training tutorial, which I had video recordings, and each new hire that I had, I would send that video recording to the hire so they would know exactly what to expect, exactly how we worked, and I remained the client facing. So if there was any interaction with the client, it was always through me, and my contractors would just help me out with the back end work. That was a win-win because they were able to work part-time and still focus on their families, as was I, and I was still able to maintain the same brand that had gotten us the clients in the first place. Whether you're looking for a product-based business or a service-based business, whether you are a kid or a stay-at-home parent, you do have something to offer. You are worth it, and please do not be afraid to put yourself out there. This was an interactive journal that I wrote in order to connect to kids who are looking at starting their first business. However, I've had several adults or the parents who purchased the journal tell me that they learned a ton from it in less than 40 pages. Just to give you an inside look of what we're talking about, I go over all of the service and products in the beginning of the book. It helps break down what supplies you might need, what to think about for money and funding, who your ideal customer is, and how to market your business. Please comment below if you have any questions. This is something that I love doing with people. Just know that you can bring your bright idea to life, and I cannot wait to see what it does for this world.